This is video one of pilgrimage. There are two. The second one is going to be all about sort of the specific places of pilgrimage, sort of individual ones, whereas this one, I'm going to be dealing with the question, describe a pilgrimage, okay, where you get to choose which one you look at, and I will be talking about Lourdes. I'll also then look at explain why Catholics go on pilgrimage, and finally about why maybe they don't need to, okay, and with that I mean if it comes up as an evaluation question. So, first things first, if you get asked to describe a pilgrimage of your choice, then I am encouraging you to either do Holy Land or Lourdes. This video deals with Lourdes. So, first things first then, alright. Firstly, the first thing that you say is that Catholics believe very much in the healing qualities of Lourdes, okay, and therefore they attend the spring, okay, and this is where the Virgin Mary instructed Bernadette, okay, to drink and bathe from, alright, so Catholics do that, alright, they may drink the water or bathe with it or bless themselves with it as they believe it has healing quality. That's the first thing. Second thing, they also, alright, it was called Catholics, also visit and pray in the sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes, okay? Or you could say worship God at the grotto, alright? So they worship at the grotto. And the reason for this, okay, is because this is where the vision of Our Lady is supposed to have taken place. Now, the third thing, alright, we said about them bathing in the water themselves, but also they take the sick, okay? They take the sick to Lourdes. Why? So that they can bathe in the water too, with the hope that it has healing qualities so that they can be healed from their ailments. Alternatively, they could also, instead of taking the sick with them, that they could take them with them in their heart, alright? And they can make prayers of supplication whilst they're there, particularly towards Mary, okay, towards Mary, so that she can petition God, okay, she can ask God for help. Next one, all right, that they receive the sacrament of reconciliation. Now this is pretty hard. Guess where they receive it? At the chapel of reconciliation. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Okay, that you got to say there. So why do they do that? So they can help to remove some of the barriers between them and God. Now, the next thing we need to know is about the two processions. So there's one called the Blessed Procession and there's one called the Torchlight Marian Procession. So the Blessed Procession, this one's really focusing on God. It takes place at 4:30 every day, and what's called the Blessed Sacrament is held in front, okay, carried by a priest, and the people follow behind and make praise to God, okay, as a way of sort of praise and worship to him. The one that takes place at 8:45 is called the Torchlight Marian Procession. If it's Marian, it's to do with Mary, okay? And during this time, it's called this praise to Mary that I said, particularly the Rosary, and they are supposed to, be focusing on sort of honouring Mary, but then also as a way of sort of motivating her to ask God to help us. The final thing is that they go to Mass. It's a pilgrimage, of course they do. So they go to Mass, and this takes place after the Torchlight Marian Procession at the grotto. And why do they do this? Well, they do this because it's a major feature of any pilgrimage. Now, so why is pilgrimage important, right? So, number one, it gives us the opportunity to develop our relationship with God. And the reason for this is that we're switching off from the outside world and we're going there just to be surrounded by others, all right, who are focused on a relationship with God and the same as us. So therefore, all right, that on pilgrimage, we can do this. So I'm going to stick with Lourdes now, okay? Therefore, we can focus on our relationship with God by attending Mass whilst we're there, through prayer, all right, taking part on the Blessed Procession and really thinking about sort of our relationship with God, or even receiving reconciliation. But that kind of links with, that's a good one as well, that we can receive reconciliation so we can rebuild our relationship with God. Another one is that pilgrimage gives us the opportunity to ask God for help. All right, and the reason for this is that because we're going on pilgrimage, we're showing that we're showing dedication to God. We're making an effort, and hopefully that effort will be recognized by God, and He will answer our prayers. So therefore, on pilgrimage, Catholics often make prayers of supplication, whether it be directly to God or through Mary when they're at Lourdes. All right, so He can help them, whether it be sort of healing them from sickness or anything. Okay, that's what they do. The next one is that it gives us an opportunity to show devotion to God. All right. Why? Well, the reason for this is that it takes effort to go on pilgrimage, all right? And you're switching off from the outside world, so you're just focusing on your relationship with him, all right? So therefore, another way in which it was called, the impact of this, so you can say the example if you want, therefore, when on pilgrimage to Lourdes, Catholics will, it's called, obviously they're away from work, they've travelled, they spent significant money to get there, and they take part on doing like the processions, they attend mass on a daily basis, they receive reconciliation, because they're all ways in which to sort of to praise God or to get closer with him. The next one is that going on pilgrimage helps us to unite with other Catholics. Why is this? This is because Catholics from all around the world visit different pilgrimage sites, okay? So, therefore, a Catholic may go to Lourdes because it may actually, it might not be the actual practices that are important, but just being surrounded by Catholics around the world helps them to feel that they belong to a religion that is so much more than just their small sort of local area, but all around the world. That gives them real strength and might even motivate them to follow God and feel more connected with him, all right, and might raise the importance of their faith to them. The other one is that not only does it help us to show devotion to God, but it helps us to show devotion to Mary, okay? Don't say love, all right? Don't say love. That show devotion to Mary or honour to Mary. And this is because there are lots of different Marian pilgrimage sites that focus on, that allow us to focus on asking Mary the intercessor to help us, but also, all right, to praise her for what she did. So therefore at Lourdes, all right, you've got opportunity where you can pray to her, all right, whether it be through the rosary, where you're saying Hail Mary, it's called on 53 different times, where you're praising her, but also that you can pray directly to her at the grotto and ask her to help you, all right, by asking God to answer your prayers. Now, the reason why some people would say that pilgrimage isn't important is because all of those things, right, they can be done at home. So, for example, we don't need to go on pilgrimage to develop our relationship with God. Why? Because we can do this in our own lives, in our own environment. So therefore, a Catholic could read the Bible, could go to reconciliation, could carry out God's work in the local community. And that's a way of developing their relationship with God. They don't have to be in France. They don't have to be in the Holy Land to do that. The next one, you don't need to go on pilgrimage to ask God for help. Why? God is omnipresent, okay? He's always there. So you can ask him, all right? You can ask him for help there and then in a room like this, okay? So therefore, Catholics may make individual personalised prayer when at home and ask God for help and not need to go on pilgrimage. The next one, you don't have to go on pilgrimage to show devotion to God. Why is this? Well, this is because you can do it in your everyday lives. In fact, we have a responsibility to show love thy God and love thy neighbour in our everyday lives, okay? Not by going on pilgrimage all the time, all right? So therefore, a Catholic can do this by spending time in prayer and reflection, attending Mass on a regular basis, by defending the faith when people are when people say that Catholicism is wrong or that God is silly, and then also by carrying out God's work, by showing love to thy neighbour through fulfilling their social and pastoral role, donating to CAFOD, etc., etc. So many different things you can say. All right, so that sort of concludes pilgrimage.